What is going on, guys? It is day 107, I believe. Let's go over the trade I took today, what we were looking at, how we were seeing it, what I was feeling. So we were clearly bullish on the daily. We broke structure to the upside, bullish on the 4-hour as well. Coming into market open, 1 hour was also. Actually, no, the 1 hour on NQ was bearish, broke structure around pre-market in London. And then we can look at ES here. ES was bullish, and we had broken structure here at 6 o'clock. Draws of liquidity were up here, and we clearly hit those draws. We were coming off this 4-hour, and we were dipping into it, and I was seeing that during pre-market. So all I was really looking for was a reversal. We had also swept London low here, and NQ was doing the same thing, sweeping London low. It was right here. London low got swept. We were in the 4-hour, respecting the 4-hour coming out of it. And so clearly NQ and ES are going in opposite directions. But at some point they were moving in the same direction. So when I took this trade, it's all based off this 4-hour gap, whether it's going to get respected or not, or if we were going to break structure on the 4-hour, which we came down low enough to break structure on the 4-hour and inverse the gap. So I was waiting around till 10 o'clock, waiting till PMI, and waiting to see more, higher time frame confirmation that price is going to reject off this 4-hour. So we ended up doing so. And so when we did, right, market opens, we just dump 100 points per usual, and then we come up, and then we start inversing all the gaps. So once we inverse this 5-minute gap right here, that was confirmation that price is going to continue higher and take out our draws. We did have an SMT right at pre-market here. It doesn't show on MES. It was a slight glitch, I guess. But on ES, we did take that high out, as you can see right here. So this was a London high right here, and we barely took it out. You can zoom in here. You can see 7 o'clock, barely took it out right here. Anyways, besides the point, so we had an SMT, price pushed down lower, and that caused that big spike down. Then, right, like I said, I was looking for confirmation on the 5-minute to see that we're going to move higher. And so we finally got that. We got that 5-minute inverse, and it totally came through. And so once we were here, I was looking for a retracement. And we just kept moving up, kept moving higher and higher, taking out my draws. We took out these draws, and then the only draw in liquidity I had left was up here. So my consensus for the day, let's start before we get into the setup and the strategy. I want to say a couple things. I don't think it was DOL. I don't think it was the strategy or anything technical. I think it was purely and simply what was going on through my head and caused me to make these decisions. So now that I've cleared that, said that, let me show you what I was seeing, what I was thinking in the moment, and how I was feeling. So we saw this 15-minute get respected, right? Saw ES come into it, get respected, and at the same time, what I need is one of the two indexes to make a retracement off of equilibrium and respect it. And that's what we saw right here. We saw this 15-minute equilibrium from here to here, came into it, tapped into it, came out of it, respected it, right? So it was right here around 10:30, 10:40, and then we saw price come out of it. So get rid of that. The 4-hour was being respected. We had confirmation on the 5-minute that price was going to move higher. So we had everything we need. The strategy was not the problem. Let me just say again, the strategy was not the problem. All right. And I was thinking about this throughout the day, that maybe it was something in my strategy, maybe it was something that I, messed up within the strategy. No, I followed all my rules. I followed what I needed to do. I followed my rules. Let's put that out there. All right. So once we saw price, we tapped into this 5-minute equilibrium right here, and we broke structure at 10:37. So this candle broke these highs. So I saw the same thing on ES, tapping into the 15-minute here, right? So I entered on this break of structure. So we entered here, right? Stops down here, TP up at my last draw on liquidity. Now, what had happened is that we got absolutely slammed. I was only risking, by the way, my stop loss was 375, and it filled 485. So I ended up losing an extra $100 because of this candle right here. So unfortunate, things happen. It's whatever. I noticed the Lucid stop loss fill and TP fill has a bit of slippage on it. So I try to account for that most of the time, but doesn't matter. We weren't able to stay in this trade. So we absolutely just got annihilated. Price took out our stop loss and continued higher to our TP. Now, that's why I don't think my DLL was incorrect. We were taking out these highs, yes. We were making an S&T off these highs, yes. But the 4-hour and the 1-hour was respecting this 4-hour gap, and we were moving higher. NQ was also looking that way as well. We were looking bullish on the hourly and the 4-hour, moving higher. Now, after 10 o'clock and after this 4-hour candle close, yes, we're bearish now. But we were bullish in that time. So, despite seeing that, I took the trade on ES because NQ was clearly still looking a little bearish. And like I said, we had NQ respect equilibrium within this range here, down here, right here. And ES didn't. All I need is for one of them to come into equilibrium. We had that. We saw it. That's what we needed. ES happened to have a 15-minute gap that it retraced into, which is even better. Then I saw my entry on the 1 minute, and we absolutely got slammed. Literally wicked us out, moved higher. I don't think DLO was the problem today. I wasn't able to identify that price was looking a bit choppy, a bit sloppy, and you can just see it on the 1 minute here, just how this is moving, just wicks, and it doesn't look too good. And you can see on the 15-minute, 5-minute, and how NQ is looking right now, it just looks disgusting. Like it looks like a cat scratch on the wall, and that's usually pretty bad. What caused me and blinded me to have taken the trade was, I believe, it was my emotions. And it's funny because I was talking about this yesterday, how your emotions control you, and you are inherently emotional. You're an emotional being, emotional creature, and your mind is going to rationalize your emotions and make bad decisions. And that's what happened today. Clear-cut example. That what I was feeling in the moment was boredom. I was bored out of my mind. I'm sitting here looking at this for an hour straight, just seeing the move play out without me. And not only that was I bored, but I was experiencing FOMO. Two dangerous feelings. And when they're combined, oh boy, you're cooked. So I was feeling a bit of FOMO because I'm seeing, okay, exactly what I wanted to see happen is happening, and it's happening without me. Respecting the 4-hour, moving higher out of it, taking out my draws and liquidity. Right? Taking out my draws and liquidity up here. These draws. This draw. So, like I said, we were taking out these draws and liquidity. It's giving me a little bit of FOMO, which made me disregard the fact that, yes, I probably shouldn't have taken this trade because we took out my draws and liquidity. But I still had one left, so I did take the trade. And what blinded me was everything that was left behind. Everything that was left behind was this disgusting snail trail of bullish candles. So I took a trade based off boredom, based off FOMO. Yes, it was in my parameters and my strategy and my rules, but discretion wise, shouldn't have taken this trade due to the fact that price was looking gross, that was looking nasty, unprobable. And so, yes, could have played out. Anything is possible within the market. But we got absolutely swept, manipulated, and they took everything and ran to my TP. So, I was dwelling on this throughout the day. It's never a good feeling to lose. It's never a good feeling that you lost and you also fucked up. In my mind, I was thinking I fucked up on my strategy, and I was contemplating over and over again, looking at the chart over and over again while I was on my lift, and just looking and looking and looking and seeing where could I have gone wrong within the strategy, within the technicals. According to my strategy, my plan, my rules, nothing was wrong. And I had to reevaluate that, look over my rules, and decide that. What had went wrong was my ability to perceive and read the chart. Right? So price was in my direction, higher time frame setup, or lower time frame setup, higher time frame bias was moving, and the higher time frame trend was moving in the right direction. And a low time frame setup aligned with that. And I was able to find something, and within all my strategy and my parameters, follow my rules, stay very patient. But I believe that the feeling of boredom and FOMO, these emotions had overcome me and made me rationalize a decision to enter on this trade, even though it was late into market open and price was just looking bad. It wasn't good, and I'll admit that. Even though you find a setup within price and you find a setup, doesn't mean it's always a good setup. You can have A plus setup and bad price action, and it's gonna turn out for the worse. That's what happened today. I've noticed that happen a lot, especially in this exact scenario where I get absolutely just whipped out and price goes to my TP. It happens. But I kept thinking to myself, what can I learn from this? It can't be my strategy. It can't be my strategy. And I believe that it was just the way that I was perceiving the market. I was being blinded by my emotions, and my brain and my emotions rationalized this decision to take this trade, even though we were way overextended. We had already taken out some of my draws and liquidity. Technicals were there. My mind was not in the right place. And I even thought to myself before even entering this trade, I should get off 10:30 because this looks bad. I even told myself this looks bad, and I still entered on a trade. So just seeing this, like we were getting good higher time frame setup, Judas sweep in the 4-hour, moving higher. But you can just look on the lower time frame, man. Look at this, and no retracements. If we had got some type of retracement here and down here and move higher, that would have been great because we could have targeted these, and that would have been way better. But I believe I was chasing. So, despite that, I understand my wrongdoings. I understand the mistake that I made today. But all I can do is live on. Sucks, doesn't feel good. But I need to realize these mistakes, these ways of thinking, these feelings, and acknowledge them in the moment. And in, as hard as it is, that's part of it. So I need to go through these experiences to know what the feeling feels like and control them in the moment. So yeah, I mean, I said a lot of shit yesterday, and then I come and fuck it all up today. But that doesn't make any of the shit that I said invalid. I truly think that way and believe that way. But today was not a good example of that. Just to say that. Still trying to find that consistency. So while I'm on that journey, finding that consistency, I will be unprofitable until then. But that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.